Good morning, Voltaire. I think you are first. Yeah, you are indeed first. Good morning, Zhang. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Here we go again. We are back. I need to be more optimistic. What do you mean by that? Why are you not feeling optimistic? Good morning, Got Rock. Yes, coffee, 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 coffee. That last emote, is that last emote matcha? What is that? I'm not drank a lot of matcha in my life, but I've heard good things about it. I think I've tried it once or twice. All right. Well, I think today we've got to fuck around with some webhooks, and that doesn't look like fun. I pessim. Let's see. I pessimized my first. Should have done a woohoo instead. Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, you got to be optimistic. I agree. You were indeed the first. What? Failed to refresh auth token? What? There we go. Good morning, Gun Highs. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sir. We are indeed back. I wonder why sometimes it dies, why it doesn't actually get the viewer count. Need to do some investigation. Good morning to you too. Good morning to you too. I haven't had the chance to watch a lot of your streams, so if I may ask, is there any specific project you're recently working on? Thanks. Of course, Rock. You are always welcome to ask about the project we're working on. So I guess most recently we built a notepad app in Rust, which was a lot of fun. I've been continuing to kind of iterate that in my spare time too. That's been a lot of fun to both build and to use. It's kind of replaced my usage of Notepad, uh, which is pretty cool to have my own little desktop application. And then currently, what we're working on is we're working on a personal finance app. So, one of the things I'm kind of obsessed with in my life is managing my own money. My hope is one day I'll hit some level of financial independence. And so I want to build something that sort of replicates the experience I used to get on Mint.com. I don't know if you're familiar with Mint.com. Um, Credit Karma kind of has a similar experience now, but basically, I just want like a single pane of glass that I can log into and see all the balances of my bank accounts. I can track kind of my net worth over time by aggregating those balances. So it'd be bank accounts, credit cards, all those sorts of things. And then let's see. And then I also want to be able to ingest transaction data and categorize it so I can also visualize my spending over time in different areas. So that's what we're building. And we've been building that for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. For the majority of February, we've been building that. and it's been a lot of fun. We've been learning about how to use Plaid.com. It's a service for getting financial data from different financial institutions. It's been good though. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So cool stream, so good content, so good coffee drinker. I am an excellent coffee drinker. I am exceptionally good at. Oh, I just saw one of the people in my Discord just posted a video. I just saw that. Well, I guess we could start by watching this video. It's about context engineering. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I know what context engineering means, but this says prompt engineering is dead. Oh, goodness. Like, bro, you're using Edge with NeoVim on PowerShell? How cool is that? I know, it's wild, man. It's wild. I'm trying to do something similar with Golang for my personal finance using double entry accounting and more, but I'm not as professional or good at it. Oh yeah, see, I don't want double entry accounting. Right now I have a subscription to YNAB, which is something called, YNAB stands for You Need a Budget. And it's just too, like, double entry accounting is too complicated for what I'm trying to do, right? Like, I just need to make sure that I take in more money than I spend every month, and I need to make sure that I want to be able to visualize where the money I spend goes. But I don't need anything. I don't need any of that complex functionality, right? Like, basically what I need is the equivalent to like a spreadsheet, but I don't want to have to manually enter the data into a spreadsheet. That's why I'm building an application that can pull the data. Um, yeah. Rafe, I remember you learned Golang a couple months ago. What are the best resources for Golang? Do you think for Golang? Do you think are for learning? I want to learn Golang. Okay, so if you want to learn Golang, obviously you can go back and look at the streams where I was learning it. But the resources I will point you to are the first one we did was Tour of Go. Let me see, Tour. So Go was a lot of fun to learn. Still probably like top 3 languages for me that I've learned so far. It was a lot of fun to learn. So we used Tour of Go, which I think is kind of like the official Go tutorial because it's part of go.dev. So if you just go to go.dev/tour, you'll find that there. Good morning, Estefanos. Rafe. So this is the first one. And then the second resource I used, which was really, really good too, is called Learn Go with Tess. And it's sort of like an online book that takes you through kind of the same type of experience, like starting from zero with Go, but it does it through kind of a testing or TDD lens, which I find very valuable. So here's the other one at Rafe3456. There you go. So those 2 resources are super, super good. Good morning, Omanian. Good to see you. Yusuf Kaya, best way to learn React and practice. Any suggestions? So React, I learned React when I originally learned React. I was writing class components. So I learned React very early on, like even before hooks were a thing. And I think most of that came from Free Code Camp and some YouTube videos. I don't remember what videos. But now I don't even know if Free Code Camp has, I don't know what front-end framework Free Code Camp goes over now in their curriculum. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Certified Full Stack. Yeah, so they go over React in here. So what I might do is I would probably, if it was me, I would start with Free Code Camp and go through their full stack developer curriculum, and you'll inevitably learn about React. The nice thing about the way Free Code Camp lays it out is one, it's project based learning, but two, they kind of give you the fundamentals. So they start with like the basics of web design and web technologies. Then they teach you the basics of JavaScript. Then you layer React on top of all that knowledge instead of just trying to jump straight into React. So that's what I would recommend. Freecodecamp.org. I send everybody there, and I just shill for them because I think they're just a really great organization. I like Quincy Larson. I owe a lot of my growth and development as an engineer to the stuff I learned over there. At Yusuf. There you go. Let's learn VLang. What is VLang? I've never heard of that. Golang is very interesting because it's one of the projects Google didn't kill. Same goes for Flutter, Dart. But for example, anyone heard of Carbon language? It's supposed to replace C and C. I've not heard of Carbon language. But yeah, I've definitely heard of Go. Okay, thank you so much. I'll check them out. Of course, go for it. Zig is just modern approach to C, to be honest. Interesting. Okay. Never heard of VLang. VLang is quite nice, actually. Huh. Yeah, I've never heard of it. All right, real quick. I'm going to take a listen through this video.
Was always a little bit ridiculous, but context is.
This is we're moving from one of my chatters, Libby, sent this video to me. Turn the music down.
King. You've got a window of, at most, 1 million tokens to tell your LLM everything it needs to know about your business and what you want your agent to accomplish. If you think about what has to fit in there, that's just not enough space to tackle complex tasks in the real world. If this is going to work, we need to understand the building blocks of context in modern agentic applications and have a framework to help us design context with precision. Let me show you what I mean. Let's remember what an LLM is.
I just want everyone to remember, context just means playing with the word calculator.
A stateless box that takes tokens as input, you just think of them as little pieces of words, and gives us, we'll say, likely tokens as output. It's important to kind of bring back to this core thing. It's very smart, does a lot of really cool things. These likely tokens are extremely useful that come out, but it doesn't remember anything. We give it a bunch of text on the input, and text comes as the output. For
I know that.
And we want to write agentic applications that take action and that know about what's going on in the business. So for our agents, we'll have some kind of input. That's probably a prompt from a human at some point. This agent, it'll probably call an LLM more than once, and it has the capability of calling tools as well. Those agent can have a workflow. That kind of
I've made videos about all this, so I'm not trying to brush them off, but I just,
that introduces some real problems.
This is all knowledge I already have.
Context to our LLM. There are 6 things in here that I want to lay out. Let's first say, we'll say here, this is what I'm going to call user message. You type a thing, and its central input is the functionality of the LLM. Indeed, you don't have access to. We said the whole point here is that the agent has access to tools, and in its terminal step, when it's done with its work, the internet shared publicly, all of your wiki articles and any else. Assistant for iterative user message content. You've got tool call agent, go history of tool calls and responses also as a part of this. So these 3 components, the history of tool calls, user message, same size boxes, all the rest of them, it might not be the same size. That tools, that's probably going to be limited. But these other agent that has, say, a 100,000 token context window, it's a pretty consistent result at this point. That maxing that out doesn't give you your best results. Somewhere in the 60 to 70% range. And again, let the research unfold on this and let that number stabilize results.
So I don't know if I'm finding this video as maybe as
and let's look at what that set of tools
impactful.
Is. 4 things I want to cover. First, there is the system prompt itself. Now, writing a good prompt is important. We need to get this right. This is a thing that is kind of a one-off for our agent, and you want to nail it. And there is a little bit of a Goldilocks thing going on here. We could, in this ditch over here, be too vague. We could say, I don't know, work. Over here, we could be kind of that's to things. And I realize this is itself somewhat vague, but it's a balance that you're going to have to learn how to strike. And that is sort of the art of prompt engineering, is making sure that you're not too prescriptive, not too vague.
Yeah, I don't go in for that. I don't go in for the art of prompt engineering.
That's important because the LLM will need to know that it has all the right inputs to be able to conclude that it can call the tool, and it's going to need to know what it gets out of the tool, because that may be an specific. Really started trying to use LLMs in an enterprise context was the retrieval augmented generation approach, or RAG, where we've got,
I think this video is oriented towards people that probably don't have like a good foundational level of knowledge about this stuff.
If they're queryable resources. And so if you're on this of this, like say, if you've got a user record that could be kind of long, maybe just give it a user ID. And if there's a resource or a queue, anything that might sound like it's related, we can just sort of describe what's available and use prompting to have the model tell us this is a bunch of calls. And these things that grow.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, I know the title of his video says "Prompt Engineering is Dead," and he's talking a lot about context. I mean, you can call it whatever. You can play words. I mean, developers are so good at this whole like word salad game of like, let's try to be intellectual about everything and call this, that, and the other thing. I mean, it's still just you're just playing with word tokens. You're just playing with tokens, man. That's all you're talking about. You're just you're just fiddling with the prompt. Whether you're talking about the system prompt or the entire body of text that you're sending into the LLM, you're still just talking about how you prompt it. What's the right tokens to put in to give you the highest probability of the tokens you want coming out. That's all we're talking about here. Okay, well, let me respond. Thank you for sharing. I still feel like the context versus prompt engineering conversation is sort of just playing game with semantics. At the end of the day, you are still just trying to optimize for which input tokens give you the highest probability of getting the tokens you want out of the model. And then and in that context, to me, what is most important is really good, is well thought out. What is most important is evaluations. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we took a moment to look at that. Gun, I just approved your Discord app, so you're in. Hello, D. Sorry, I fell behind on chat there for a second. Prompt engineering is dead. Long live agenda technicians. Most of the videos, I go binary search on them. I literally start from the middle. You know, honestly, one of the best features that YouTube has added, I don't know if you guys have tried it, but there's a feature, I know a lot of creators are going to hate this, but there's a feature now in YouTube where you can actually ask Gemini about the video. So, like, if you're on a page,
this day,
let me see if I can find it.
I heard that Google.
To this day, Bjarna is still.
I guess you can't do it on a short. Just go here.
So a lot of people.
And you can ask it, like, you can just be like, yo, what is his point? And it will do a pretty good job of getting you, like, roughly the right summary. It's pretty good. It'll give you timestamps and stuff too. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm guessing what they're doing to facilitate this is they just transcribe the video, if I had to guess, because they're probably already doing that transcription to support captioning. And then I'm guessing what they do is they just send it over to Gemini with some sort of predefined prompt. But it's a good, I feel like it's a really good feature, really good use case. Because sometimes you sit down to look at a video and it's 20, 30, 40 minutes long, and you're not really sure you want to commit that time quite yet. Obviously, I'm sure creators hate that feature because it probably robs them of views. Good morning, Minister of Defense. We got 37 inches the other day. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Let's see, but the location of play is different. The aim is that the agent itself will be able to get more information from a simpler prompt from the user, so that the user, a lot which are non-engineers, makes the user's life easier. Yeah, but again, I understand what you're saying, D. But again, we're just playing word games, because at the end of the day, whether you call it engineering the context or engineering the prompt, the thing you're engineering are the input tokens. That's all you're doing. You're like crafting the right input tokens. So like the word games to me are kind of unnecessary. Like why we need to relabel things from prompt engineering to context engineering just so that we can talk about something new and different is to me kind of stupid. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you. Estefanos, that was quick. What's your typing speed? My typing speed is not very fast. It probably was a lot faster back in the day. So I worked as a medical scribe through college, and I got pretty fast at typing doing that. I got really fast at typing with one hand because a lot of times you'd have to stand in the doctor's office, and like you'd have to stand in the exam room while the doctor was doing their interaction, and you'd have to hold the laptop in like one hand and then type with the other. But yeah, my typing speed today is not super fast. Thanks, Steven. I don't know why I was out of your Discord. Oh, no worries, dude. Sometimes it's nice to go through your Discord and just purge all the servers. Good morning, Bob. Good to see you. Summary of the videos. Oh my fucking god, yeah, it's pretty baller. I need to go back in time to 2006. It was simpler back then. Yeah, life for sure was simpler. Yeah. Faux show. Faux show. Alright, now we're gonna write some code. Go through your Discord and purge every member. No, that wouldn't be nice, Kurtz. I don't want to kick people out that want to be there. Now I kind of feel like I need to make a video about why context engineering is stupid. I mean, honestly, what matters is evaluations. That's what matters. I mean, let's forget about prompt engineering and context engineering. Let's talk about evals. Let's talk about what's the right way we measure, right? Whether or not a given prompt or a given piece of context is actually influencing the model the way we want. And the only way you can do that is with statistical analysis. Okay, so today we have to deal with webhooks. Webhooks are going to require me to use ngrok, and I'm going to have to hide the URL from you guys because last time I used webhooks, somebody caught the URL and then started to try to spam request against my machine. So we're going to have to be thoughtful about this. Speaking of scribes, even my doctor was like, things are getting crazy with AI. Are you worried about getting replaced? Then I pointed out he was using his phone as a replacement for his scribe already. Stuff, thank you very much for subscribing. Yeah, dude, everyone wants to talk about AI right now. Like, I literally yesterday was scrolling TikTok, and every other video seemed like it was AI related, and I just held down and went, not interested, not interested. I must have did that like 15 times yesterday. It seems like everything is AI-fied at the moment. Yeah, Barber talks about, see, like, I think this is a good indication that we've entered some new level of hype or some new level of awareness. Yeah, it's just, did you guys see OpenAI's big, was it OpenAI or who was it? Meta? Somebody had a big announcement yesterday with AMD deal. Yeah, it was Meta, I think. Did y'all see this yesterday? I mean, the money is just continues to go burr. I don't. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. AMD to sell up to 60 billion of AI chips to Meta over 5 years. The deal gives Meta the option to buy 10% of AMD AMD had struck a similar deal with OpenAI last year. This is crazy. $60 billion, man. That's so much money. How many seconds is 60 billion? Whoops, hold on, sorry. How many years? How many years is 60 billion seconds? Did you see the new AMD chip or whatever? Oh, that's funny. You literally read my mind. That's 1900 years. Yeah. I don't know. I personally don't believe there's that much economic value. The level of I personally think that the level of financial investment currently in the market will never be able to be recouped. Or it won't be recouped anytime soon. So I'm kind of just like waiting for a chance to buy stocks on discount. Calming I don't know how to say that. Calming get ad blocker? What's ad blocker? Is that like an extension for your browser? When they need to start trying to make a profit, they're just going to sell your data? Oh, 100%. 100%. They're not going to sell your data. They're not going to sell the data. They're going to use the data. They're going to use all that rich context that everybody's been putting into the LLMs to optimize the response. They're going to take all that context engineering that you've been doing, and they're going to inject into the conversation, the responses of the models. They're going to inject targeted ads. Like, the level of intimacy of information that people are putting into large language models compared to what people were willing to share on Facebook or Instagram or their website, I mean, is orders of magnitude more intimate. Like, you've got people talking to ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude about their deepest, darkest concerns and worries and hopes and dreams. Like, yeah, they're gonna, and that they're gonna turn. And I know they say they won't, just like you said, Minister of Defense. They'll say they won't, right up until the minute they do. Have you looked into MongoDB? I bought it at $186, but right now I think it's at fair value. Nice. So I don't do any individual stock investing myself. I just do index fund investing. I'm not smart enough to pick the winners and losers. I just know there will be winners. So I invest in the entire US stock market. But I do like MongoDB and their product. I've used MongoDB and their product a lot. I think NVIDIA stock crashed a few days ago. Maybe look into that. Oh, yeah. No, I don't do it. I think I definitely own some NVIDIA stock through index funds, but I don't own any individual stocks. Individual stock picking is too hard. You have to be right twice. You have to buy it at the right time, then you have to sell it at the right time. It's too hard. A dot in the cosmos. Hoping for a hard crash in the next year, and they just open source the weights on the way out. That would be what a way to leave. Hoping for a hard crash, and they just So I think the one thing I'll say there is I think that the only company, the one company that is the best position to survive market turmoil is Google, right? Is Gemini. That's the one AI group that I think, Demis Hassabis and his group, they will be fine because Google's well of capital is deep and ever growing. But you look at companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, to me, they seem in very much more precarious situations. Either OpenAI has to give itself up to Microsoft finally, which I think is what Microsoft would want. And I think Anthropic ends up having to give itself up to AWS. Like, if shit really hit the fan, I think they would have to end up just letting themselves be acquired and rolled into those larger orgs. Don't worry, your deepest, darkest secrets are safe with Mossad and CIA. Don't know how that's sent twice. Oh, no worries, dude. It may not be you. It may be a streamer bot thing. Steven, you never sell. When it comes to my investments, I just buy and hold. I'm just an index fund investor. If you ever want to know kind of the way I approach my investment life, I just follow the advice in this book called A Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. It's very good. Very good book. Couldn't recommend it enough. Let's see. Simple Path to Wealth. This is the book. It's a really good book. It's kind of like listening to the wise old uncle that you wish you had. Good book. I wonder what would Meta be using their AI except for ad optimization. I have no idea what Meta's doing. I don't understand their strategy as a business at all. I still think, if I had to guess, Meta's bet on AI is much more curiosity driven and just FOMO driven than it is actually strategic. I think Meta cares far more about owning the next hardware platform. I think Meta cares far more about their Quest and AR technology than they do the AI stuff. But I think the market has so hard pivoted away from AR that they sort of have to have a compelling AI story. But I think at the end of the day, I think they care far more about owning whatever the next thing is after our phone. So yes, and I think that's why their current business approach or strategy looks very schizophrenic to me. Meta wants to be out. Exactly. Yeah. Meta, I think the main thing is Meta just doesn't want to ever be at the whims of Apple again. Because I think the change that Apple made like 2 or 3 years ago with the whole ad stuff where you can now ask like app not to track type of situation, that was a real gut punch for Meta as a company, or Facebook at the time as a company. And I think that really rocked Zuckerberg, if I had to guess, from like how vulnerable is our business actually? And so I think they want to avoid being beholden to another platform again. I think they'd much rather be the platform than be beholden to somebody who has the platform. But right now, investors don't give a shit about augmented reality. They just want to hear about your AI story. I just downloaded Arch Linux, so I use Arch, by the way. Good for you, man. Good for you. Let's see, I'm thinking to read their 10K, but probably there won't be much in it. Yeah, I mean, grab their 10K and just ship it into your favorite AI assistant and ask it to summarize it. And then you'll kind of know if it's worth you taking your time to sit down and read through the whole thing. Yeah, I agree with that. Zuckerberg is hack. AI story equals tell me sweet lies. Yes. Whisper your sweet AI lies to me. Tell me all the wonderful things that AI will do. Yes. Yeah. I did not live through the first, or I was alive, but I wasn't really aware of the first .com boom. And I really wasn't involved with technology when cloud computing went through its hype cycle. And I feel like this is the first time I'm living through the hype cycle of a technology. I mean, granted, cloud computing, the internet, same thing with the large language models. These technologies are real and powerful, and they're going to be lasting pieces of technology. But the hype cycle around them, the financial hype cycle around them, this is the first time I'm experiencing it, I think, really as an adult. And I'm just kind of blown away by how much the world is just built on a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of bullshitting. Unfortunately, for better or worse. It's Lord of the Flies, man. It just, yeah, it's been pretty wild. I mean, I kind of knew that from working in corporate, but like when you just look at the scale, the economic scale of how much the world is impacted by people's just kind of running around saying things and never really having to live up to what they say, you know, it's like, oh, okay. Everyone's just making it up. Is that NeoVim? Yes, this is NeoVim. Yeah, that's what I'm working in. Awesome technology brings awful salesmen. Yeah, or awesome technology brings greedy folks. Okay, so I think this is where I have to send the webhook. So create leak token async. We should probably open up the Plaid doc so we know what we're doing. I want to put those on the other screen because those docs are all in light mode and they really flashbang you. Emperor Grizzly, YOLO. Hello, Emperor Grizzly. Good to see you. Let's see, Plaid API docs. And I think it was called, let's see, what endpoint do I send my webhook URL to? Link token create. Yeah, so it's on the link token. So let's go to the documentation on this. Okay, so this is what we have to do basically. We have to send a payload with raw JSON to the webhook. Oh no, that's what they're gonna send. Let's look at some code. Nope, that's not what I want to look at. I want to look at where we create the link token. Let's see, sandbox redirect URI, Plaid production redirect URI. Fetch ngrok tunnel URL with better error handling. Here we go. So this is where we need to, excuse me, this is where we need to send our, whenever we make the link token params request. So in my C# code, that's in this method. And we have a Plaid client here. So I'm guessing there's somewhere in here, there's like a webhook. Yeah, webhook. So we don't have this yet. This is just empty, but we need to populate this. So I think I'm gonna do this. They're fetching theirs from ngrok, but I think I'm just gonna get mine through configuration. So let's go to this guy. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Test. YouTube is dropping all my chats. Oh, weird. We hear you now. Yeah, I see you now. I sent like 5 chats that just vanished when I refresh. Huh. That's super weird. I started free code camping. Nice! Good for you, Emperor Grizzly. Hello, Kai. Good to see you. Okay, so I don't think that this is really where this information belongs, but hear me out. I don't want to have to create another options object. Sharat, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being a member. You too, Bob. Thanks for being a member, man. Appreciate you guys. Emperor, I don't understand what you're doing, but it's nice talking to you. Okay, cool. Well, if you ever want me to explain more about what I'm doing, I'm happy to explain. You know, but that's totally fine. You're welcome just to hang out and vibe, you know? It's been doing it to me on other streams. I wonder if I'm flagged. Oh no, why would anyone flag Bob? Why would anyone flag you? I talked to him. They're like, okay, this guy has said his piece. He's had enough. That's funny. Let's see, private, read only, Plaid client options. If you in the future become a tech entrepreneur, don't forget me. I don't think you have to worry about that. Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that at all. Excuse me. Okay, and then what we can do is we can go here and we can say options.value.webhook. And then we'll have to come back up to our app settings. And we'll add a new entry here called webhook. Webhook. Cool. Now I have to actually populate this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that over here. So let's do AE source physical OS API app settings .development. Hopefully this is going to open on a different screen. Oh god. Oh man, I'm going to have to rotate my shit. Oh goodness, here we go. We got to go to the Plaid dashboard. This is the problem with streaming. You're always leaking your stuff. Log in? Yeah, log in. Oh, now it's happening to me. Oh, you're getting the bug that Bob was getting? Well, I guess you talk too much. I guess you've hit their rate limits. We have to do our two-factor code. Leaking what stuff? All the secrets, man. All the secrets. Always with the secrets. They actually make it pretty easy, though, in Plaid to rotate them. To verify. And it's done. I think I need to rotate my other repositories, physical OS, tests, API. And now we need to add our webhook. And how are we going to get our webhook? So we're going to need a new terminal. And we're going to have to do in grok. And then we have to go to, what is it? What am I trying to do? I lost my train of thought there. Go here. And then we go to properties so we can see what the URL is. Localhost 7060. That's where we'll proxy to, essentially. And then there'll be some oh, of course there's a update for ngrok. Okay. So I set that webhook value now in my app settings. So now we should be able to read it in our options when we send it. Now we need to actually add an endpoint to actually handle the requests from the webhook. So I'm going to put this under a new namespace called transactions. And I think I'm going to call it, what would be a good name for it? Let's go back to the docs really quick. Where are we? We are, did I close the documentation? No, here it is. Oh, did you get bitten by a mosquito? No. Are you talking about this on my forehead right here? Or right over here? No, that's a pimple. I had a pimple there that I tried to pop yesterday, and it's just angry. Prime leaks his keys over and over on stream. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, it's hard not to do. And unfortunately, most things you need to interact with today when you're writing code, at some point you run into the need to have some credentials or something. There's just not a good way to avoid it. See you, Emperor. You should design your application to handle duplicate and out of order webhooks. Ensure idempotency on actions you take when receiving a webhook. If you derive application state with webhooks, ensure your code doesn't rely on a specific order of webhook receipt. If you or Plaid experience downtime for longer than Plaid's retry period, you will lose webhooks. Ensure your application can recover by implementing endpoint polling or other appropriate logic if a webhook is not received within an expected window. All data present in webhooks is also present in our other APIs. So if you or Plaid experience downtime for longer than Plaid's retry period, you will lose webhooks. What does that mean? Like we won't receive them, or they'll stop sending them to us? Oh, if there's a non-200 response or no response within 10 seconds from the webhook endpoint, Plaid will keep attempting to send the webhook for up to 24 hours. Each attempt will be tried after a delay that is 4 times longer than the previous delay, starting with 30 seconds. To avoid unnecessary retries, Plaid won't retry webhooks if we detect that the webhook receiver endpoint has rejected more than 90% of webhooks sent by Plaid over the last 24 hours. Okay. That's kind of like Stripe. Stripe will continue to retry sending you events if your endpoint responds with a non-successful status code. Okay, so we just need to decide what we're going to send there, or what we're going to call it. Maybe just transactions slash Plaid or something. What did they call it in their code? Services / webhook. I guess that's fine. Probably overthinking it anyways. So let's do webhook. And a webhook will have a request. I don't know if it will need a response. I think I just have to respond with, I gotcha. Thank you for sending me that update. See, once this webhook has been fired, transaction data for the most recent 30 days can be fetched for the item. This webhook will also be fired if account selections for the item are updated, with new transactions set to the number of net new transactions pulled after the selection. Okay. Let's just try to, okay, I'm not going to try to get overwhelmed by see if I can just receive I think the first thing is let's just see if we can receive the webhook, you know? That's like step 1. I wonder how do we validate though? Can anybody send anything to our, like, how do you validate that you're actually transactions dot what do I call this, webhook? Map webhook endpoint return results dot okay. Hey, good morning, honey. Oh, it didn't work. People have been experiencing dropped messages on YouTube this morning, honey. It doesn't look like your message got through. Try it again.
Did we just become best friends?
Hunted Kid, thanks for subbing.
Did we just become best friends?
Leo, thanks for subbing. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Rude, yeah. I don't know. Other people have complained about their messages getting dropped this morning, so I think there might be something happening on the YouTube side of the equation.
Kelsey says I can't send it again. It won't make sense.
Oh, well, there you go. That one worked. Let's see. Require authorization. I don't think... Well, some of this will require authorization. But specifically... Transactions group. Map transactions group. This needs to be map webhook. This. I think this one we actually need to explicitly allow anonymous, I think. Let's move this to global namespace. Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. YouTube has been bugged for days and it's getting worse. Oh boy. Come on, YouTube. It's not falling down on the job. We need you, YouTube. We need you. This is my third try. Finally, it works. Huh. Well, I'm sorry, guys, that the chat seems to be messed up this morning. Sorry about that. See you, Got Rock. Have a good day, man. I'm gonna ask Bill. Oh wow, this thing's taking a long time to load. Oh my goodness. Don't know what's going on there, but that's not working. I'm gonna ask Bill. How are events sent to webhooks verified or authorized? See, Plaid webhooks are sent as standard HTTP post request from Plaid servers to the webhook URL. Webhooks notify your application about specific. Yeah, I know. So no built-in signature or authorization header by default. As of now, Plaid does not include.
Did we just become best friends?
I can't read your username, but thank you very much for the sub. I
Did we
appreciate
just
that.
become best friends?
Ronald, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. Okay. The request will arrive as standard post. Use HTTPS. Okay. Restrict endpoint access. Configure your firewall routing to allow only inbound connection from Plaid's known IP addresses, if feasible. Plaid does not officially publish an IP IP allow list, but this is a general best practice available. That is hilarious. Whitelist these well-known, or whitelist Plaid's known IP addresses. We don't publish that list though. You can inspect the webhook payload for expected event structure, types, IDs to help ensure authenticity. When you receive a webhook notification, use the relevant Plaid API endpoint to verify that the event actually occurred and to fetch the authoritative data. This helps guard against spoof or unexpected requests. So that seems like the best way to go about it. If they don't provide a signature, that's pretty crazy to me that they don't provide a signature or authorization header or anything like that. That seems kind of wild for me considering the type of data that we're dealing with here. Let's see. When you receive a webhook, use the relevant Plaid API to verify that the event actually occurred and to fetch the authoritative data. Some teams add additional security by sharing a secret in a custom HTTP header and checking for it in received requests, though this is not enforced or enabled by Plaid directly. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would accomplish that. See, validate HTTPS content. Yep, check for a shared secret header. So this probably is also an interesting idea, but I don't understand how. For example, call transfer event sync for transfer webhooks. I don't know how I feel about this now. Because I don't want people just to be able to spam my webhook endpoint. I mean, I guess there's nothing really stopping them from doing that beyond Cloudflare. Okay, I'm trying to solve for problem. I'm doing the thing where I'm trying to solve for problems that don't exist again. So let's not worry about that. Let's just try to get the request working. So we're gonna have a request object here. This is gonna be from body, and let's go ahead and add this guy here, namespace physical OS dot API dot transactions dot webhook, and we're going to do a public sealed record, call it request, and then let's take a look at what that structure of that JSON needs to be. Transactions. So does each one so each one kind of has a different shape, doesn't it? You can receive notifications via webhook whenever there are new transactions associated with an item, including when Plaid's initial and historical transaction pool are completed. All webhooks related transactions have a webhook type of transactions. Yeah, but then the webhook code makes these polymorphic. Because this one doesn't have account IDs, but this one does have account IDs. Initial update has different properties. Historical update has different properties. I wonder if that library has, let's see. Going.plaid. See if it models webhooks. Webhook. There we go. Yeah, so they already have this for us, so we can use theirs. So they have webhook base, and then they also have a converter too. So if we really wanted to, we could also leverage their converter. Parse enum converter factory. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen this before. I don't think I've ever implemented one of these before. Get underlying type, get converter, create instance of. Parse enum value. Huh. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I don't think I learned about a new thing today. Wow, look at all those different. Yeah, we definitely don't want to have to deal with these all ourselves. So the transactions, they have initial update and historical update. Where's the sync? I don't see a sync in here. Sync. There we go. Sync updates available. Sync updates available webhook. So I guess every I guess I don't need a request, honestly. So what we're saying is that this really should be webhook base. Identifier expected. Oh, yeah. Request. So I guess let's see if we can actually test this. So let's just say, okay, we get the request and we respond with the request. We'll just echo it back to ourselves. And then let's try to test this. So let's go over to the terminal and let's do .NET source physical OS API. And we want to run that. Right? Yes. What? .NET run, oh, dash project. Excuse me. Okay. And then we'll need Postman. Okay, so how do we test this? They said there was an endpoint that we could call to test this. Where is it? Need more coffee. There we go. So let's see. Quickly public token create. That's easy. Provide the URL to Plaid. Handle the incoming webhooks. Test your webhook. Sandbox item fire event. Okay. Is used to test that code correctly handles default webhooks. This endpoint can trigger the following webhooks. To be fired item simulating default update event. Sync updates available. Transaction webhook to be fired for given. So how do I define what to be fired? So I have to give it client ID, the secret, the access token, the webhook type, the webhook code that can be fired by this test endpoint. Okay, so I need to build this in Postman. So let's go here. This is for accounts. Let's add one for transactions, or let's add a collection for transactions. Transactions. Let's do that. Rename. This is going to be, what do we want to call this? Create webhook event. And this will be not base URL. This is actually going to be against their live. It's very similar to what we did for accounts. Generate public token. Let's actually extract this to a variable. Let's call this Plaid sandbox URL. And it goes for the collection. So then we'll come over here. Plaid sandbox URL. And we want to send it to this endpoint. Fire webhook. Oh my goodness, just let me copy the text. Goodness gracious. Okay, and this is going to be a post, I'm assuming. And we're going to need something for the body. Okay, what do we need? We need client ID. We need, whoops, that's not how you do that. Client ID. And we need, this is going to have to come from Plaid client ID. Do I need to wrap that in quotes, or will, yeah, I need to wrap that in quotes. Secret. The access token. This one's going to be a little interesting to get. Because right now it's just stored in the database, but it's encrypted. So we're going to have to figure out a way to simulate that. Webhook type. Let's just start with, it should be transactions always. So it's interesting. Plaid treats investment transactions differently than transactions. So that's going to be a whole new whole new thing to figure out whenever we get there. And then let's just do sync updates available. That. We actually need to update our secret. Yeah, I don't know how to get a hold of this. This is the part that's kind of stumping around. I don't know how to get a hold of this because right now it's in the database. Yeah. It almost makes me wonder if I shouldn't just implement my own test webhook endpoint. That might honestly be easier. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That actually probably would be easier to do. Let's do let's do test fire webhook. And then let's do endpoint.cs request.cs, and that should be it. And then the request is going to have namespace physicalOS.api.transactions.fire webhook. This can be internal, or no, this can be public record. Public sealed record. Anyone else find Gemini 3.1 is amazing and garbage at the same time somehow? I haven't used it enough. I haven't used it enough myself. I mean, I do have a emotional roller coaster moments with LLMs quite frequently. This is client ID. Oh yeah, this is going to be much easier to do this way. See this? Let's do public string client ID, getter and an emitter, JSON property name. It's going to be webhook. Oh, actually, I don't have to abide by those conventions. So I can just actually do just do it this way. I can say a string webhook type and then string webhook code like this. And I'm not even really going to worry about validation. So we don't need to pass in these at all. We can switch this back to the base URL, and we will say base URL transactions fire webhook. Okay, and this is only for testing purposes, so we're not going to map it all the time. See, webhook type, webhook code. Do this. Fire webhook. Handle async. Return results dot okay. This is going to be what? Request. Why is it ambiguous? It shouldn't be ambiguous. Public sealed record. I don't understand why that's ambiguous because it's namespaced. The request is an ambiguous reference between. No, it's not. It's literally not. Oh, that's probably why, right? It's almost like it doesn't recognize that it's in a namespace. When in doubt, restart the LSP. Also, I'm out of coffee, which means it's break time. The thing I hate the most about Gemini right now, I know you guys, that's what you guys are talking about. The thing I hate the most about Gemini right now is the personal intelligence feature, where like it will randomly, like if you turn on the personal intelligence feature, it will randomly reference information from like other conversations or other things that are not really relevant. And it's like, why are you bringing that up right now? That's super weird. So I turned that off because it kind of got annoying. Someone please explain to me why this is not working? Transactions, fire webhook, This is the exact same setup I have for every other endpoint. Yep, see, it properly resolves that one. So why can it not properly resolve this one? I wonder if it'll build. Let's see. Yeah, it built, I think. Oh no, it didn't. So why is it an ambiguous reference for thing types that are not in the same namespace? This one works, and this one works. I wonder if I need to add it here, maybe. From request. Request. Physical os.api.transactions.fire webhook.request. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's because I named it record. Oh my gosh, I looked at that like 16 times. That is hilarious. Okay. That is, I'm an idiot. That's what that is. All right, so this is where in here, what we want to do is we want to get from services. We want to get a couple things. We want the app DB context. What else do we want? We want the encryptor. Encryptor. This. We also want the Plaid client. Plaid client. And I think that might be it. Oh, we also need the HTTP context because we need the user ID. So, HTTP context like that. And then we're going to do some stuff. So, what are we gonna do? We're basically just trying to recreate this test sandbox endpoint, but we have to get the access token for the item from the database. So our request, I guess, needs to also figure out what it wants to trigger an event for. I don't know how, I don't understand how this all works, honestly. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not really sure how this all ties together, but I'm just gonna keep plodding ahead like I know what I'm doing. Duckby, yeah, YouTube just dropped one of my chats. Lame. Lame, YouTube. Yeah, if you guys are trying to chat and it's not coming through, I do apologize. You can switch over to Discord if you want. I can monitor Discord if you guys want to put questions there. Try my best to keep up with it. So I guess we have to kind of identify in this request what we want this to fire on. I guess let's fire it for account ID, maybe? Account ID might be a good way to identify.
Did we just become best friends?
Sorry, trying to see that. Toffee Gaming, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate that. It's very nice of you. I feel frustrated because I feel like this is more work than what it should be to accomplish this. Okay, var user ID equals HTTP context dot get user ID. Then we'll say var user equals app db context. Whoops, not that, app db context dot users. And then we want to do some filtering similar to what we're doing on the institution page. So let's do get available. So we basically want to do dot include u dot counts, and then dot then include a dot institution. So static, it's fine. If it were easy, Mint wouldn't have gone out of business. Yeah, true. True. Drinking coffee for the first time in 2 days. Could get to a coffee shop due to snow. Dude, I bet you're like on cloud 9. Do you feel like you're hovering above your body? Caffeine for the first time in 2 days? Like, that must be like a whole new religious experience. Last year I gave up coffee for the entire month of December, but I didn't give up caffeine. I just didn't drink coffee. Are you a fan of ORMs? I'm not. Oh, really? You don't like ORMs? I personally love ORMs. I would much rather interact with the database through code than through whatever the native well, I take that back. If I'm working with MongoDB, I'm perfectly fine with using the MongoDB query language. If I'm dealing with SQL, I would much rather use an ORM. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm a fan, but I know everybody else has their kind of their preference, you know. So no worries there. Let's see. This is going to be u and u.id equals user ID. Let's see, and then we need to filter this by the account. What? Why is metadata possibly null? Huh, that's weird. I'm not sure how to deal with that inside that Lambda. Okay, so we'll get the accounts institutions, but we need to query, we need to filter where a .id equals request account ID. Well, we could do toString, or we could parse it to a GUID, I guess, either way, right? Okay. And that should hopefully find us the user. So if user is null, then we know we have an error. Return results dot unauthorized. If user dot accounts dot any is false, then we have a bigger issue here. Gotta wait this. So that means there's no account. So then we return results dot not found. And then otherwise we should have what we need to make our request to Plaid at this point. So we should be able to say var fire event response equals await Plaid client dot sandbox item what's the difference here? We have bank transfer, we have sandbox transfer, and we have income. I guess we want item. I'm not sure I know exactly what the difference is, but I think we want item. Let's look at the docs one more time. Are you the square brackets let's see. Are the square brackets in C#? Are they like annotations in Java? You mean these right here? They're attributes that you can declare. I don't know what exactly annotations are in Java, but I'm guessing it's kind of the same idea. Python has decorators. C# has attributes. This way to put like additional information, right, about the thing you're decorating, and then you can then do stuff or react. You can then react to the fact that something is decorated with that attribute. They come in handy. They're used quite a bit in a lot of frameworks. Yeah, this is for item. So then we can do. I think the only thing we needed here was. What was it? We need client ID, client secret. Those are already set. We need the access token, which we're going to get from our institution. We need our webhook type. We need our webhook type, which we're going to get from our request. And we need our webhook code, which we're going to get from our webhook or our request, like this. Now this is say cannot be implicitly convert type to going plaid enum. Okay, so do we have a converter then? I'm guessing there's a converter. Fire webhook request webhook type enum. That's quite a name. That is quite a name. I don't know if I've seen a type name in C# that long ever in my life. Wow. I mean, I guess this is always going to be transactions for us at the moment, but I feel like there probably should be some sort of converter type converter. Let me see if I can find in the source code for that library. Let's see. Let's actually use some AI. Yeah? Let's sprinkle some AI on it. Let's see, going going.plaid. Lurk away, duck boy, lurk away. Good to have you here, man. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. In this library, I need to be able, or let's see. I'm consuming this library. I need to be able to convert from a webhook. I guess I need to. What is the name of that type? I still can't get over the length of that name. Holy moly. It's one of those things that, like, as the person was writing it, they were thinking, oh God. I need to convert from a string to its corresponding enum, specifically for, is there a public converter that I can use to do that in the library that is exposed to me? Let's see what it finds. I should have took a break and went and got more coffee. let's see, the library has an enum converter factory. There's no public converter exposed by the library for direct string to enum conversion. It's marked internal, so you cannot access it. Your options: implement your own converter, request the method to be made public. If you're receiving the string as part of JSON, the library's converters will handle it automatically during deserialization. I don't think it would. Well, so the JSON is coming to my API, not to the Plaid client. Is there a way I can leverage this library's serialization logic to do the conversion? It just seems dumb. I know I could do this, but it just seems dumb to implement this. Let's see. You can use the logic. Let's see. Set up JSON serializer options with the library's enum converter. Yeah, that's a lot of extra code to do what is amounting. This endpoint is just here for testing purposes. um, hmm. What do I want to do? I'm frozen because I don't know what I want to do. The type name is awful. Why would someone allow that? I don't know. How did that make it past the PR review? I have no idea. I don't know how anyone. I don't know how that made it past, but man, that is woo. That's a name right there. Yeah, that's pretty wild. God, this is why I hate enums. Honestly, this is the whole thing about enums that I just fucking hate. Like I would much rather, if it was me, just implement a static class and expose the strings as strongly typed members. But like, don't force people to go through an enum. Just hate them because you always end up in this weird conversion hell from string. You basically want them as strings, but then in their code they're represented as numbers. Fuck it. I'm just fuck it. Here's what I'm gonna do because I just want to test this, right? So we're gonna do this request. Instead of doing that, we're just gonna ignore the request for now, and we're gonna say, give me that enum, set it to transactions. We're gonna hard code this to some other long ass name, I'm sure. I mean, come on, guys. That just I can't get over the name. I hate enums as well. This is my hell with CF. Yeah, I hate enums, man. I just hate them. I understand their value, but I hate working with them. I just think the ergonomics of working with them outside of C# or when you're moving data from one place to another, or from outside your code back into your code, it just creates a lot of pain in my opinion. So how do we get the access token? So the way we get the access token is from the institution. So what we do is we say var plaid metadata, and we do this. We say we need some plaid metadata. So we are never getting a Steven stream of Cold Fusion. Then I don't even know how to like do you have any resources to get started with Cold Fusion? I I just don't know anything about Cold Fusion. Um, institution dot metadata deference value to non-null. Where's the deference here? So that metadata is always going to be null unless I do then include. So the question is, why does that do that? So how do I do, let's see, then include, let's see, entity framework, then include possible null property. See, it's kind of interesting because this is the weird part I think with entity framework is because technically if someone doesn't do then include, the institution can have a null property. So I basically have to say and same thing with institution on the account. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. Okay, and then we'll say if Plaid metadata is null, we have an issue. Return results dot I don't even know, internal server error, something's really gone wrong. Then we have to get the encryption, so we say var access token equals await encryptor dot decrypt for, pass in our user and pass in our Plaid metadata dot encrypted access token. And why are you complaining? There's no argument that given corresponds to, oh, yep. We should forward the cancellation token. Everyone's happy. So this is going to then have a access token. That was the whole that right there is the whole reason we needed to implement this test endpoint, is because we've encrypted the access token in the database. So there's not really an easy way to get the access token without going through our code. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So that's really the whole reason we're doing that. And then let's see, fire event if fire event response dot status code. So like it is successful. Yeah, is success status code is false. Then we are going to return, again, we'll just say like, let's see, like failed to fire event. No metadata associated with account. And then we'll just return okay, I guess. I guess we could say, we could do fire event response dot. I guess we could do this. We could do fire event response dot request ID and fire event response dot webhook fired, like this. Okay. So I think if we try to do this with one of our existing accounts that we have connected, I don't think it's going to work because we haven't called the, let's do .NET run. Let's open our database. I don't think this is actually going to work. It might. We'll see. We might be pleasantly surprised. So we don't need either of these anymore. We have account ID, account ID. Let's go ahead and get one of our account IDs from here. Copy. Put that over there. Oops. That over there. Save it. We're going to need to log in first, so let's go ahead and log in. Don't steal my password. So we have our access token now. So now we will send Nothing is happening. Huh. It's weird. It's almost like it's just hung. I don't know why that would be. We have Plaid client, decrypt 4. Well, very interesting. Guess I'll just bail out a Postman and try again. How's the finance app going? It's coming. It's coming. It's more, at this point, we're kind of at an exploratory phase where we're trying to figure out how the transaction webhook pieces work and what's the best way to go about kind of testing that and building that piece of the system. So we're very much in like a learn A learn experience. Not found. Oh yeah, that would make sense because we have not mapped that endpoint.
Did we just become best friends?
Who was that? Sorry.
Did
Was
we
that
just become best friends?
that was YouTube? Yeka, thanks for the sub. And I missed somebody earlier. Let's see. Stream elements dashboard. See, NRG Studios, thanks for the sub. Yeka, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you guys. It's very kind of you. But yeah, it's going good. It's good to see you, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. Why are you not a fan of ORMs, Bob Knoll? I don't know if he said that. See, Bob, I bet it was auto-generated from OpenAI API spec. Oh, that makes sense. The enum type, that makes a lot of sense, actually, now that you say that. What is this link? Oh, is this sort of the cold fusion stuff? So what's the difference between cold fusion and Lucy? I don't understand. Huh. It looks a lot like you know, HTML, JavaScript. That's what it looks a lot like. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It has query execute in a script tag. It looks like you're making a SQL query inside a client-side script tag or something. It's giving React Server component vibes. Lucy is open source cold fusion without Adobe being an ass. Oh, okay. All right, now I understand. Good morning, party people. How are we doing? We're doing good, Justin. Good to see you. Let's see, Bob said, trying to condense in a single chat is painful when you need to optimize queries is the gist. Oh, I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Trying to figure out what the ORM is doing under the hood.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we did. Dude, I've really got to keep the alerts open because I keep missing them. Jason? I'm not sure how you say your. I'm just gonna say Jason. Thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate it. Good morning, YouTube folks. No, YouTube is bugged. Your chats may be dropped. Yes, this is true. We've been having issues with chats coming through all morning. So if I don't respond to you, it's not necessarily because I'm ignoring you. It could be that your message never made it to me. All right, let's restart this. All alone on Twitch. Feel free to come over. Come to the dark side, where the chat works. All right, let's try this again. Let's see, fire webhook. Transactions, fire webhook, post. Map group. Map, fire webhook endpoint. Map. Oh, I bet I didn't map it on the actual app level. Yep. App.map. Transactions.
I like to say something.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Excuse me. Oh, whoops. I I just tried to run that link as a command. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so we're gonna try again here. Now let's see what happens. Failed to fire event. That makes sense. Now let's see why it failed. I think it's failing because in order for the webhooks to work, you probably need a webhook URL that's been set, and then you also I think have to call an endpoint whenever you add the account. So let's see what Plaid is saying back to us though. Endpoint.cs, request.cs. We want endpoint. So let's do, instead of this, let's do so we will do fire event response dot error dot display message.
I'd like to say something.
Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room.
That's
a rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy?
Well, I guess we need to use those 11 Labs tokens somehow. I really am more interested to see what prompts you're sending to the LLM to get those responses. Last person who did something like that got banned. Be careful. Oh, no. I mean, Uncle Pee-wee, it's all in good fun. The last person that got banned for abusing text-to-speech was somebody who dumped a book in Chinese characters into the chat. Let's see. Webhook for this item is either not set or invalid. Please update the item's webhook and try again. Okay. So, what we need to do is we basically, I guess I don't have a way to update the item. So, which is something that we need to probably think about. How would we do that if we needed to do that? I'm not sure. That's a future Steven problem. So I'm actually going to purge out a bunch of data from the database, and then we'll try this again after we've connected an institution that has okay. So let's close this for a second. Also, if I don't do this, I'm going to forget. So let's go back here and we're going to say a route if app.is production is
I
false.
like to say something.
The Gospel of Stephen Freeborn. To the followers of the digital realm, let it be known. Stephen Freeborn is not just a name. It is the ultimate glitch in the matrix of mediocrity. While others play the game, our Lord redefines the rules. He is the high ping hero, the frame rate king, and the absolute sovereign of the stream.
The sovereign
Raise
of
your
the
emotes
stream.
and silence your notifications. For when Stephen speaks, the algorithm itself bows in reverence. Stay sharp, stay free, and stay subscribed.
I kind of like I kind of like the end. Stay sharp, stay free, stay subscribed. I kind of like that. The LLM kind of, I mean it kind of cooked there. What in the world? Oh, you made it over to Twitch, huh, Bob? Okay, well, good deal. Glad to have you over there. He said, "What in the world?" What in the world is correct? Cool, cool. So now we need to go to the dashboard. You should check out something called SpacetimeDB. Twitch ads. Back to YouTube. You should check out something called SpacetimeDB. SpacetimeDB. Let's see. App development at the speed of light. SpacetimeDB is a real-time backend framework and database for apps and games. Oh, hold on. Didn't somebody else recommend this to us? I think someone else mentioned this on chat. This is made by a company who was building another game, wasn't it? They were building... I think we actually looked at the game, didn't we? I thought we did. Yep. Yeah, what was it? What was the game called? Because the game actually looked pretty good. They call out convex real bad. Do they really? Where do they call it out? Oh, they do. Oh my goodness. That is pretty fucking funny. I mean, I'm a big convex fan, but like, whoever was on the marketing team then was like, you know what? Let's put them on the graph and let's make it so clear that they're so shitty that you need a magnifying glass to see their. What a good dunk. So is this just, what is this measuring? This is measuring millions of processes at scale, transactions per second. Okay, wow, yeah, that's wild. 104,000. So they're saying they can only do 100. Convex can only do 123 transactions per second. Wow, that seems like a really low number. I mean, it seems to be on par with a lot of the other existing database technologies. So can you build your dream app? That's pretty cool. So can you use it yourself, or do you have to be in their cloud? Oh yeah, so SpacetimeDB locally. To develop SpacetimeDB databases locally, you'll need to run the standalone version of the server. After installing the SpacetimeDB CLI, run the start command. The server listens on port 3000 by default. Okay, standalone mode will run in the foreground. SSL is not supported in standalone mode. Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely check this out. I mean, I love this whole idea of technologies, convex, Supabase, Firebase. I love this whole idea of like making databases more than just like a place where you stick data, right? So what are their functions written in?
Did we just become best friends?
Mohammed, thanks for the sub, man. Really appreciate it. Super kind of you. So functions can read tables. So this is kind of the same idea as convex. What are they authored in? I always find these benchmarks fishy. I was wrong, sorry. See, they have a native C# port. Oh, do they really have a native C# port? What were you wrong about, Justin? Yeah, I mean, you should always be skeptical of benchmarks, but I just think that's a really funny way to present it. Reducers are defined in your module code and automatically exposed as callable functions to connected clients. So you can author your functions in C#. Okay, that actually might steal that could steal me away from. Yeah, sorry, YouTube's been having all kinds of issues with the chat. I honestly don't know if it's my chat or if it's actually YouTube. I don't know if it's StreamerBot or if it's me, but for some reason. So you can write them in C# or Rust. That's very, very cool. Every reducer runs inside a database transaction. This provides important guarantees. It's on 100% YouTube. It's been happening in other streams. Oh, okay, cool. So it's not just me. Dude, this is really, really cool. I'm glad. So I didn't look this far. When somebody else recommended this, I did not go this far down the rabbit hole. You can do scheduling of procedures. So I love this idea. I mean, I know people have strong feelings about stored procedures, but I love the idea of being able to basically author what are the equivalent of stored procedure in your native language code. I really do like that idea. I don't know. I don't have a good idea for a project though where I would use this, but this is very, very cool. Chat app tutorial. Okay, maybe we just do their tutorial. Yeah. What is SpacetimeDB client? Is that what they auto-generate for you?
I like to say something.
Behold the master of the machine, Steven Freeborn. Where others see a wall of
Devin
broken code,
Freeborn.
he sees a symphony of logic. He doesn't just write scripts. He weaves digital reality from the void. With a single deployment, bugs vanish and systems ascend. From the depths of the back end to the peaks of the cloud, his architecture is flawless. His
that's not
absolute.
that's not true.
Bow to the king of the commit. The gospel of code begins now. Did we just become best friends?
Oh my goodness. Waleed, thanks for the sub, man. I have successfully derailed Steven. You did successfully. So I'm actually super excited about this. The fact that they have a client that's just native to C#, I think is wonderful. The fact that it supports Rust, I also love because I would like to spend some more time working with Rust. So I think I'm going to go through their tutorial and build the chat app. I think that's going to be a project we do. I think that's very cool. Yeah, I think that's very, very cool. Do this tutorial. C# is getting everything. Maybe I should switch. Well, C# is pretty cool. It's pretty baller. Hey, I'm following you since you've won subscribe. Oh, really? No, I don't believe that, Dev. I don't believe that. Are you sure that's true? Because my channel has been around for a really, really long time, like 10 years almost. And it's gone through a lot of iterations, and most of the videos on my channel have nothing to do with programming or coding. Or at least the long form videos. So I would be surprised if you've been around since day one. I thought adults didn't do homework. Unfortunately, they do. I still have to do my taxes, man. I need to get my taxes done. Saving it as the old homework name? Yeah. that's my current to-do list. Kurtz can't cheat on Java though. Well, I would like to try my hand at Java, but yeah, I'm surprised they support C# but don't support Java yet. Maybe it has something to do with the underlying stack or something. I don't know what Java. It looks like .NET. They rely on WebAssembly, some sort of WebAssembly thing. Okay. All right, back to what we were doing. We got derailed there for a minute. Let's see if we can actually get this working. I want to see if we can get this working. So let's see, Steven, password. Let's add an institution. Probably should have some sort of placeholder there. Continue without phone number. We can add capital 1. It's going to be user, good, pass, good. Okay. And then let's add an account. So checking. Okay. Now let's go get that account ID. Copy. So now there should be a webhook URL set. So let's set that here. Send. Unauthorized. Authentication is required to access this resource. Okay. I need to log in. Oh yeah, I need to probably refresh because it's been more than 5 minutes. Refresh. Okay, that was bad. Why doesn't the refresh work? There we go. There you go. It worked. So let me see if I have a event.
Did we just become best friends?
It did. So I did receive the hook, but the problem is that the value that I have configured is not correct. The webhook URL that I have configured is not correct. So I need to update the webhook configuration real quick. So let's go to the application. Let's stop it. And let's open my notepad. I hate you have to log in to use Postman, so dumb. Oh well, that's part of my issue because I implemented authentication on the endpoints. It's not really a Postman issue, it's more of a me issue. The way I built things. Let's see, where are we trying to get to? Repositories? Yeah, repositories. Physical OS. Also, Bogdy, thank you very much for the sub, man. I appreciate that. Do the API. Open this guy. So this actually should be transactions. Fire webhook. I forgot to add the full path at the end of the URL. So now what we need to do is we need to spin this up. And then we need to delete the institution. Well, hold on. How do we... Because right now, Plaid is just spamming my webhook with the events. So how do... see, Plaid stop... or stop webhook for item? To stop receiving webhooks for a specific Plaid item, you can update the URL to an empty string or remove the item entirely using item remove. So how do I remove the item? Remove call to delete the item, which permanently stops all webhooks and data access for that connection. Oh, this is kind of interesting. So this is going to be something we want to implement in our code whenever if we allow users to disconnect or delete institutions, we're going to want to do this. Let's see, if a user revokes access via your portal, call the Plaid revocation endpoint to synchronize, which triggers Plaid to stop requesting data. Okay, so let's... How do we call this endpoint? Whoops, that's a Plaid item remove docs. Curl supremacy? Yeah, I'm not... So, I don't care for Swagger UI anymore these days. If I use something like Swagger UI, I'm going to use something called Scalar. I think Scalar is a better version of Swagger, in my opinion. I can never remember how to make a curl request more complicated than just like a basic GET request, so I don't really use it that much. I know of some TUI REST client apps, not too bad, but it's written in Python. Oh, nice.
Did
Yeah,
we just become best friends?
I've never used a REST TUI client. Jishanu, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate that. So remove an item. So we do client ID, secret, access token, reason code, reason note. See, it's anytime we have to do this access token, we're in for a wild ride because the access token is in the database and it's encrypted. I wonder if I can do it through the dashboard. Can I do it through the dashboard? Doesn't look like I can. It sucks. Can I delete an item? Plaid delete item from dashboard? Navigate to the items view. Right click on the specific item, select remove item command. This invalidates the access token, preventing further data access. Go to the items tab. I don't see this. Where is this at? Log into your Plaid portal account. Select accounts. Click on the name of the delete from Plaid. Yeah, I don't see. All right. Well, I need to figure out a better way to deal with this because this is not gonna. We got to figure out this testing piece because if we register, basically we don't want to have to. If we want to test webhooks and we're creating an item that has a webhook endpoint, we either need to be able to update that webhook or disable events for that thing or delete it altogether. So we got to figure that out because I don't want Plaid just spamming events to me, even though I don't expect to handle those events because those events were just for testing purposes. So we need to find a way to deal with that in an elegant way. Mohammed, hey man, how's this going? It's going good. Yeah, it's going good. We're learning. We've learned a lot this morning about how Plaid handles webhooks and transactions, and we've found some kind of rough edges of our inner dev loop right now because we haven't really set up all the necessary cleanup logic to deal with some of this stuff, but it's all fixable. It just requires time and effort to fix it. Steven, this is why it's important to plan. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, there was not a ton of planning in this. I just knew what I wanted to build and I sat down and started to try to build it. Buddy, I'm also working on making an app, my personal finance tracker app. Can we connect to make it together? For sure. I'd be happy to see what you're doing. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna stop working on what I'm doing because I have a very specific vision in mind. But happy to look at what you're doing. And I'm also welcome to you opening PRs against my repo if you want. But that's awesome that you're building a finance app too. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to delete this thing because let's see, you guys can't see this, but let me take a screenshot real quick. This is what Plaid's doing right now. It's just spamming. It's just spamming. It's trying to deliver that event, and it can't get through. And so I need to figure out how to stop it from doing that. Opening PRs, you said? Never said what about? Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever you want. I mean, look at the code, pull down the code base, see what functionality that's missing and what you think you'd want to add. I think the coding's done for this morning. Gosh, for some reason I got the membership. I don't know how. Oh, nice. Well, welcome to the club. I guess you're assuming membership to the channel. You don't look like a member to me of the channel. Or are you saying maybe your name is still in the scroll bar? Maybe I just haven't updated my list since you dropped from being a member? I don't know. You look like a sub. You're definitely a sub if you're chatting. All right. I'm gonna end stream and go get more coffee and get ready for the day. But then I'm gonna come back down here and figure out how I delete that item so that Plaid stops sending me webhooks. Teo, when did you start the C# project? We started working on it like beginning of February, like a couple days into February. So we've been working on it for 20-ish days, a couple hours every day, just in the mornings. So we just slowly been poking away at it. Steven, you should turn Physical OS multi-platform with Maui and Convix once you're done with the web version. That would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. I would like a mobile version. I don't know if I'll integrate Convex, but I would love a mobile version. Oh, it's after 7 already. Time flies when you're having Plaid. Time does fly. Rust was quite a while ago. Yeah, it was like 20 days ago or something like that. I think we switched over to this like at the beginning of February. Oh, damn. I got it a few weeks ago. Somehow now it's gone. I texted you on one of the Rust streams, I guess. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Sometimes people will gift members. That's probably how you got it, was through a gifted membership. Nice, nice. I use C# at work. Would be cool to follow along. Well, C# is my favorite language, so yeah, feel free to follow along. It's good stuff. Mohammed, but how do you seriously code without AI? Because that's how I learned to code. That's how I've kind of always coded. So coding without AI is like feels like normal life. It's also much more enjoyable to me to code without AI. I like to use AI like you saw. Like I like to use AI to ask questions and help me figure shit out and interrogate big chunks of code or repositories I'm not familiar with or documentation, things like that. But when it comes to actually doing the implementation, I kind of enjoy playing with the Legos. I mean, code for me is kind of like adult Legos in a lot of ways. Software in general is kind of like adult Legos for me in a lot of ways. So that's why I code without AI. AI is my new Stack Overflow. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it really is. It's wonderful for asking questions. I mean, you just have to be. The problem is you just have to be kind of knowledgeable enough about what you're asking about so that you know when to call bullshit, right? That's the key, because AI will, if you don't know what you're talking about or what you're asking about, if you really are flying 100% blind, it really will like take you down a completely false path, and you'll waste a lot of time looking for something or trying to make something work that just doesn't work. Like they just made it up. And you're like, am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. The LLM is crazy. Coding is problem solving. That's why it's so similar to Legos, because both problems are we have the desire to build something, but nothing built. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think I like software a lot because it's also very like, it doesn't take a lot of capital investment. Like I don't need a lot of money to sit down and build something like this. Versus like if you wanted to solve a real like difficult problem that required like, well, I need hardware and I need a laboratory and I need, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't require, you got access to a computer, you got access to internet. Okay, great. You can pretty much do whatever you want without having to spend a ton of money. So it's kind of a nice way to express or to fulfill that desire, like to want to solve problems without having a big barrier to entry. Yeah, exactly. So what Justin said is what the word was the phrase I was looking for. Barrier to entry is very low. Yeah, so that's why it's a really nice way to kind of express that. If you like to solve problems, it's a nice way to express that hobby or that interest. All right, guys, I'm gonna go upstairs and get ready for my day. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday ahead of you. We made it to the middle of the week, so we're halfway through, and hopefully I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. But if you're new here, I'll just drop my schedule here in the chat for you. So I'm normally live from 4:15 to 7 a.m. each morning, and we usually just hack away on some project. Probably once or twice a week, we fall down an existential AI rabbit hole. Chat often helps educate me about things that I don't know. So if that's your kind of place to hang out, then come and hang out. We'd love to have you. If you want to interact outside of stream, the best place to find us is Discord. So I'll drop that there. That's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Super easy link. And it looks like the schedule didn't get caught by YouTube. So let me just cross post that really quick. There's the schedule. What is this project building, by the way? This project will end up being kind of like a personal financial dashboard. So basically imagine like if I have an account at Capital One, at Vanguard, at Schwab, instead of having to log into all those separate accounts and stuff to see like what's the balances, what are my latest transactions, I'll just have kind of a single pane of glass, hopefully, where I can log in and see, okay, here's all my balances, here's all my transactions, and then from like a feature perspective, I just want to be able to track my like net worth or the total of those balances over time, and then for the transactions, I want to be able to categorize them and visualize that spend over time. So it's a little bit of like an aggregation and visualization of my financial data. That's so if you're familiar with like mint.com, that's kind of what we're chasing down. All right, I'm out of here, chat. Bye, Duckboy. Bye, Teo. Bye, Justin. Good to see you. Bye, Bob. Bye, Mohammed. Bye, Uncle Pee-wee. See you, Nishant. Good luck with your finance app. See you, Kurt. See you, Minister of Defense. I think that's everyone that was here recently. Bye, guys. Let me know about that stuff. Oh, of course. Yeah, I'll for sure let you know, Justin. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. See y'all. Have a great day.